I have finished the novel Ugly Love. It's a kind of novel that ties everything up in a nice package at the end, that doesn't leave things up to question, which maybe is why it's a popular novel. Why these types of novels are so popular, because they are escapist in a way. It's a romantic novel. It's a love story, and why I say it's escapist is because it takes us out of all the stuff that's going on around us, like whatever war happens to be going on, whatever poverty happens to be going on. All the people in the book are pretty comfortable. All the jobs, the men have jobs that they're all pilots, so they're, I guess, kind of geared to be upper middle class. The woman in it is a nurse, so and she's going to graduate school to become a better nurse, a more high-paying nurse. So it is, and it's an escape from whatever cares you might have with your current life, with this or that, and the problems you have. But it deals with the problems of life, of getting together with love and meeting people. And so what goes on, without giving spoilers, is that there is a horrible tragedy in Miles' life when he is 18 years old, 6 years in the past. And it involves his girlfriend, Rachel. And so it leaves him in the point where 6 years later he's not had a relationship. He cannot have a relationship. He doesn't want to have a relationship. And he meets this woman, Tate, and they start connecting. And they start having sex, and he makes these rules that she can't ask about his past, and they can't make a future together. And so she kind of goes along for a while, but she can't really stand that she's going along, and she really rebels because she's falling more and more in love with him, and really wants to have a relationship with him because she sees so much about him that is warm and wonderful, and exactly the stuff that she's looking for in a man. So ultimately, we find out what happens with Miles, and he finds some redemption, and love is there is a happy ending to the story. So, but it is about this how an early tragedy, or an early tragedy in this guy's life has set him on a course where he's afraid of moving forward in the same direction, in the direction of love and romance. He's fine with his career and so forth, but as far as love and romance, he's done with that because of this really horrible tragedy that went on in his childhood, at the very end of his childhood, the very beginning of his adulthood, with his girlfriend, Rachel. So these things can affect us really badly. I related the story because I have something in my past that made it difficult for me to have love and feel like I'm entitled to it, and that's what's going on in the story. He doesn't feel entitled to love, and love can lead to tragedy and hurting other people, and he doesn't want to hurt other people with his love. So I guess the lesson of the story is that love is a good thing, and it's not really a hurtful thing, and there are ugly things that happen along the way. The novel's called Ugly Love because of the incident that happens before, which is not really ugly, it's just really tragic and sad. Um, it's not an ugly activity that somebody did or a impulse that somebody had. So I wouldn't have named it ugly love myself, but tragic love doesn't sound like a seller. So yeah, ugly love is probably a better name ultimately for the novel, which one of my persons who watched the YouTube here suggested that I read this one when I asked, should I read a Colleen Hoover? And I did read a Colleen Hoover, and it was just fine. So you can read Colleen Hoover too if you want. I approve, and enjoy your reading. All the mysteries that I was clued into at the beginning, like what's the matter with Miles? Why can't Miles love Tate? And what went on with Rachel in 6 years in the past. It's important to remember that all these people are very young in this book. They are, Miles is 24 years old, so his pain and hurt from 6 years earlier were not that long ago, so it's all kind of immediate and present for him. As is that kind of pain can be present. I thought it was a good book. I got a little tired during the lovemaking part, the sex scenes. Not because I don't like sex scenes or, not particularly put off by them. It's just like, I don't know, just get on with it is what I kind of felt like. It felt like it was kind of stretching the action out a little bit too much. And actually, as I said before, this is a large print book. It's the first time I've read a large print book, and you can see the print is very large and fills up the whole page, but it's unabridged. So it's a novel of redemption because Miles, it all does get tied up in the end, and Miles does learn to love. The thing is, these things from the past can affect you very much, and trauma from the past can affect what you're trying to do and the love you're trying to make now. This has actually touched my life, which is why this novel was effective to me, because I'm kind of like Miles in a way, except I didn't get cured at age 24 like Miles is at the end of this, and going to end up living happily ever after, I guess. But no, my thing, I did not connect and have a serious relationship that lasted my whole life long, partly because of what happened to me in childhood is with a traumatic experience of my own. It's not as horrible as what went on in the book, but how can we judge the traumas of others and how we experience those traumas? So Miles is lucky that he found a way to get out of his trauma and find love and accept love. If that's what it is all about, I'm not sure if that's what it's all about, or love is just a vehicle for us to continue to breed and continue to have more peoples. I'm about to start reading this, and I'll tell you how it goes as I go along with it. That might be fun. Day 2 of reading this Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. It's in the morning here. I'm in Washington Square. No, I'm in Union Square Park. So I'm at page 78, and it's large print. I think the large print books are the same as the small print books, only they take up more of the page and the type's bigger. I don't know. I'll have to look at another copy of the book. It was the only one available at the library. So what goes on is this, we have so 3 or 4 characters we've met so far. There's Tate. Tate is arriving in San Francisco to live with her brother Corbin in Corbin's apartment. She's coming from San Diego where she's been living, and she's going back to nursing school, and Corbin is a pilot. So she arrives and Corbin's not there, and she has a drunk guy in the door. She can't get in the apartment with this drunk guy in the door who's 20-something like she is. So she manages to get in, and the drunk guy has to stay at the apartment, according to Corbin on the phone, because he lives across the way and he doesn't know where his keys are, and he's drunk. So he stays overnight, and his name is Miles. So Tate and Miles are having kind of a flirtation. She kind of loathes him and loves him at the same time. He's got dreamy blue eyes, and he's big and hunky, but he's also completely like cold. She can't read his emotions if he has any. So she just found out that he's a pilot too. So, and then there's this other guy, Dylan, who also lives in this building. It's all about this building, these people in the building. There's Cap, an old man who's down at the door. He's sort of a former doorman, maintenance man who's 80, and is just sort of lives there and is given this sort of doorman position as a courtesy because they feel sorry for him because he's so old and he can't be maintenance man anymore. So much for the old people. So Corbin comes back, and there's this other pilot guy named Dylan who lives in the building, and he's bad. We don't know why he's bad, other than he treats his wife poorly, and he's always trying to hit on Tate whenever they're around. Whenever he happens to meet Tate, she runs into him when she comes up on the elevator the first time there. So so we got this sort of budding idea of this romance with Miles and Tate. And I guess maybe that's the ugly love. I don't know. I still don't know what the ugly love is, or exactly what genre novel this is, or exactly what's going to go on. So it's so far not bad, kind of interesting story, and I'm curious to see where it all goes. So I'm on 100 and it's the evening of the second day of reading Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, and I'm on page 158 now, and let's see what's going on. Tate, the young woman Tate, and the young man Miles are definitely hooking up. So there's a big deal about it being Miles' first time since from 6 years. And we also go flashing back to 6 years ago And 6 years ago, we hear from Miles and his love for Rachel. Rachel is the daughter of his father's new wife. Mom has died fairly recently, and Dad is hooking up with Lisa, who happens to be the mother of Rachel, who Miles had seen in school and already fell in love with, and they're both like 18 years old. So they are having a secret affair because they've all moved in together, and they are having a secret affair, and it must end soon when she goes off to school and he stays in San Francisco to study whatever he's going to study there while she goes to school. So something's going to happen with Rachel. We know that because for some reason he has not had sex, or says he has not had sex, or been in love, or been involved with anyone in the 6 years since something went on with Rachel. And he's setting up all these rules with Tate. She cannot expect any future, which is the second rule, and she cannot pry into his past, which is rule number 1. So there are also rules in the relationship with Rachel living in the home and all that, which is a separate set of rules, and I don't remember all of them. So that's what's going on so far. It's there's a lot of love, kissing, sort of romantic, physical interaction scenes going on in the book, and I think they're handled fairly well. None of it feels yucky or forced or overly explicit. Actually, none of it is very explicit at all. It's all very kind of PG rated, I guess. So anyway, onward to the rest of this. It's 450 maybe pages, so I'm a little over a quarter of the way through this now. I'm up to page 195 now in Ugly Love. And the characters of Miles and Tate are getting really hot and heavy. Actually, I got a little tired of their elongated making love scene. They finally do have sex. The sex is, it's all right how it's handled. She doesn't, with the writing, she doesn't use any of the words that make everything often seem a little rougher, the names for things. Like I took my C and shoved it in her C, that kind of thing. So anyway, it's getting a little tiresome. A man on a skateboard with a dog barking. So it's getting a little tiresome, and I'm wondering where it's all going to go, and wondering why. I've forgotten why they can't, why they have to be secret from the brother, since they're both grown up. I understand that it serves the story in some way that we'll find out later, in that it parallels his relationship 6 years earlier with Rachel, who is his dad's future wife's daughter. So I understand that fits somehow, but I don't understand how it is going to fit. And besides, the Rachel thing is not exactly forbidden either. Yes, it's inconvenient. It's not impossible, though, just because she's the daughter of the woman who his dad is interested in. Miles and Rachel are not related in any way, so it's not incestuous at all. So really, anyway, we're going to just continue to see how this all plays out. As I said, I'm ready for some kind of event to happen, and which I think I don't think there's any real spoilers yet, so I think I'll just play this in the non-spoiler. I'm going to make 2 videos, one for spoilers and one for non-spoilers. So anyway, I don't understand what's up with this Miles.